welcome to Xbox On. Now, when it comes to 2016, gaming has been incredible.
Alright, but, right, let's be honest, 2016 is over and it's coming into 2017, so here are the most anticipated games that you're going to want to play.
Ghost Recon Wildlands was one of the best games we played at E3. It was just us and 3 buddies dropped into the vast plains of Bolivia and left to take out the evil cartel however we wanted. This could mean sneaking up on enemy compounds, marking enemies through our binoculars and sniping them out on the quiet, or you could do what we did and bundle into a jeep and ram into the front gates. Just don't be surprised when your team gets ripped to pieces by machine guns. The combination of classic co-op tactics and the huge open world is really exciting. It makes us think of a co-op version of Metal Gear Solid 5. In fact, messing around with buggies and bikes on those huge hills is so much fun, it's going to take a fair amount of discipline to focus on saving the day. Hopefully we can get our act together in time for Wildlands release in March.
South Park, the fractured but whole. The game you really need to emphasize the pauses in the title, and even then it still sounds rude. Now, let me start by saying I loved the first South Park offering, The Stick of Truth. I'm not even a die-hard South Park fan, but I found the game absolutely hysterical and couldn't put the controller down. So the idea of another game is music to my ears. The Fractured, that's right, I'm not saying the whole title every time, takes place after the events of The Stick of Truth. The kids decide to start a new adventure, this time taking on the role of superheroes who fracture into different groups. It's basically taking the mick out of all the never-ending superhero movies, and it looks set to be hilarious. You return to your role as the new kid, although with added option of gender choice now. There are 12 superhero classes, including Brutalist, Blaster, Cyborg, Psychic, Assassin, Commander, Netherborn, and Karate Kid. I mean, a Psychic, Assassin, Cyborg sounds cool and all, but come on, Karate Kid? Hell yes. You're going to want to jump back into the adventure with Carmen and the crew, if not for the reason alone that the title is funny to say. No, you're immature.
We first saw Cuphead over 2 years ago, so why the long wait? Well, it's a 2D platformer that is drawn by hand using traditional animation techniques. The result is an action game that looks like an amazing living cartoon. But don't be fooled by those bright colours and child-friendly looks. Cuphead is an incredibly hardcore platformer. It feels a lot like Mega Man, forcing you to jump between waves of deadly bullets and slowly chip away at those huge bosses' health bars. We've not been able to survive any of the demos we played at previous game shows, so we can't wait to go head-to-head with the game when it comes out in 2017.
I got some hands-on time with Sniper Elite 4 during the Eurogamer Expo, and it left me impressed. Sniper Elite 4 is a tactical shooter that relies heavily on your stealth abilities. Now, the first thing to point out is this game is brutal. Slow-mo cameras capture your kills, showing in gruesome detail how bone, flesh, and brains are torn apart by your killing blow. Yeah, strong stomach is needed. The maps are significantly larger than Sniper Elite 3's maps too, so you'll have plenty of space to conduct all your horrific murders, you absolute monster. The game takes place in Italy in 1943, where you again play Carl Fairburn, tasked with shooting fascists from really far away. Speaking of them, Sniper Elite 4 promises far smarter AI for its baddies, with the opposition reacting to your actions in a more intelligent way, making it much harder to get your mission done by going in there all guns blazing. Why not get all mushy and romantic by playing this game on its release day, Valentine's Day? Aww, roses are red, violets are blue, I shot a guy in the face, and his brains came out too.
A Viking, a samurai, and a knight walk into a bar. It sounds like the setup for a terrible joke, but it's actually the pitch for an awesome third-person brawler. For Honor is all about classic duels, as 2 fighters meet in the battlefield and are locked in a battle of wits. It's all about trying to pick an attacking stance to weave around your opponent's defensive stance, without opening yourself up for a nasty stab in the guts. It may sound simple on paper, but once you start factoring in combos, counters, dodges, and special attacks, the combat system reveals its true depths. It's all wrapped up in an ongoing faction war where your individual online performance helps decide how well your entire faction is doing. Help push your faction to victory, and you can change the look of maps and win awesome prizes, and make sure to keep an eye out for the beta that's coming in January.
Now, Metal Gear Survive is a weird one. It's the first game in the Metal Gear series not to be made under Hideo Kojima, who many would say is the reason the Metal Gear Solid series has been so incredible. So can a new entry to the series from Konami be so amazing if it doesn't have his brains behind it? I think there's definitely plenty of potential for fun. The main reason being that it's 4-player co-op, where you'll team up with some friends to take down hordes of the undead. Yep, it's going to get messy. The actual game takes place alongside Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, focusing on members of Big Boss's army rather than the legend himself. These soldiers end up in an alternate universe via a wormhole, thus explaining the zombie thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Metal Gear series is not known for its logical points, but Survive looks to take things to an even weirder place. And even though I had my doubts with the loss of Kojima, I love a good zombie game, so count me in.
If you love the State of Decay zombie survival on the Xbox 360, but found the experience a little lonely, then State of Decay 2 is for you. Once again, you are fighting off the undead hordes and trying to build a new life with fellow survivors, but this time you can play with up to 3 friends in online co-op. The idea of forming up as a zombie hunting party and performing daring raids on food supplies sounds like so much fun, and the developers Undead Labs have also spoken about how your actions will have bigger consequences in the world. You'll want to be careful about partnering up with any sloppy players, as they could accidentally lead the undead back to your base or accidentally trigger a turf war with fellow human survivors. For example, there is absolutely no way in hell that I'm letting Lydia play with me. She's going to get everyone killed. Trust me.
If you were a fan of Banjo-Kazooie and the glory days of Rare, then you're going to want to get involved with Yooka-Laylee once it's released, as both games share a strong resemblance. You control Yooka, a chameleon who's apparently quite a sensible soul, and Laylee, a bat who is a bit, well, crazy. It's a proper nostalgia rush, a 3D platform adventure game that revolves around collecting a small mountain of collectibles. During your chameleon/bat adventures, you'll explore worlds contained within magical books and complete challenges to collect pages, which are golden book pages that act as currency. Once you've collected pages, you can unlock new worlds or expand ones you've already unlocked. You'll have some cool abilities at your disposal too. You'll need to collect butterflies to fill your power meter, and then you can unleash delights such as sonar blasting, tongue whipping, sky roaring, and fart bubble. Yeah, deep and meaningful content is not what you'll find here. What you will find though is some seriously good fun and a lovely blast from the past. I can't wait.
Prey is an absolutely astonishing reinvention of one of the earlier Xbox 360 games, dropping pretty much everything except for the name. It's set on board a giant space station, and you are challenged with fighting off alien attackers who can take the form of any object in the environment. So don't just sit down on the first comfy chair you find, there might be something nasty inside. To help you fight the alien forces, you are able to inject superpowers straight into your brain. You can even steal the alien shape-shifting ability and hop into objects. If you can't fit through a hole, why not just take control of a mug and roll through the gap? This game is absolutely crazy. It looks like an amazing mix of Dishonored, BioShock, and Dead Space, and is going to be one of the weirdest action games of the year, but I can't wait.
If you like your horror games a little more personal, then Resident Evil 7's fresh new take on the much-loved series will sort you right out. For the first time, the action will take place in first person, so when you're being attacked by all your worst nightmares come true, it'll be just like they're attacking you, rather than the character you're controlling. Isn't that lovely? You play as Ethan, 4 years after the events of Resident Evil 6. Unfortunately for Ethan, and you, he's just your average civilian with few combat skills. Think Outlast, being hunted by horrors that you can't fight back at. Joy! It's got a classic Resi story. You're searching for your missing wife, Maya, which leads you to a derelict mansion which is home to the demented Baker family. It promises to strip things back and go to its roots. Think small, tighter locations with more chills and thrills than ever. Yes, there'll be the odd mutant creature to take down, but expect a much bigger focus on managing tight ammo supplies than in the last few action-packed entries. If you feel like starting the year out with a fright, then this is the place to start.
We've been dying to play Crackdown 3 ever since we played the incredible Crackdown 3 tech demo at Gamescom 2015. The game uses cloud computing in order to pull off the most amazing in-game destruction that you've ever seen. Imagine a huge open world city where you can bring down any building you like by blowing away the right parts. Why bother trying to climb a skyscraper to bring down the criminals at the very top when you could just knock over the whole thing instead? Every bit of damage you do to the city is remembered, and it feels like a revolutionary jump for video game action. Of course, alongside this online mode is another awesome single player campaign full of the crazy superpowered agents we love to play as in the first 2 games. When Crackdown 3 arrives in 2017, it's going to bring the house down. Literally.
Everyone knows dragons are the coolest thing ever. I mean, just ask Game of Thrones. Well, in 2017, Daenerys Targaryen can eat her heart out because Xbox One is getting Scalebound. In this mad action RPG, you take the role of Drew as you adventure through the world of Draconis. Your dragon buddy keeps you company as you both are bonded together, so much so that if one of you dies, then the other will perish too. Ouch. For the most part, you don't directly control your dragon, leaving it to sweet AI goodness to smash through enemy forces. But when facing larger enemies, you can link with his mind to deliver more direct smackdowns. The awesome thing about Scalebound is it promises plenty of cool customization. You'll be able to blend dragon abilities, appearances, and armor to create a dragon who truly feels like he belongs to you. You'll also be able to ride the dragon, which, let's face it, is every fantasy lover's dream. Plus, if that wasn't enough dragony goodness for you, you can also shapeshift into a half-dragon hybrid. Not since Skyrim have you had so much dragon goodness all up in your face. Factor in 4-player co-op, and this is shaping into one of the most exciting games of 2017.
Halo Wars 2 was an amazing surprise when it was revealed at Gamescom 2015, and now that the game is just under 2 months away, we're even more excited. The brave soldiers of the Spirit of Fire are back, this time to face off against an evil splinter group of the Covenant called the Banished. The leader of the Banished, a brute warlord called Atriox, is shaping up into one of Halo's greatest ever villains. As well as an awesome story, 343 Industries and Creative Assembly are making one of the more explosive real-time strategy games we've ever seen. It has all the strategic depth you'd hope for, but also tons of explosions and crazy vehicle clashes that you'd expect from a Halo game. Throw in the cool new Blitz mode where you play cards to build an instant army, and this will be heaps of fun. Question is, will you play on Xbox One or a Windows 10 PC through Xbox Play Anywhere? Decisions.
Now, it's safe to say that Red Dead Redemption 2 is the most anticipated game of 2017. The announcement this year alone caused huge waves of excitement in the gaming world. It helps that Red Dead was such a perfect game, likeable characters, a unique concept, and a world we wanted to get lost in. So the chance to do that all over again is reason enough to long for 2017. So what do we know about the second offering? Well, at the moment, not a whole lot. We do know it takes us back to the Old West with cowboys, cattle, and rundown towns full of saloons and liquor again. Something new on offer though is that we'll be riding with 7 characters rather than the single John Marston in the previous offering. Will we enjoy some GTA 5 style character hopping? Most likely. Judging by the trailer, it's going to be stunning, and I for one can't wait to gallop across the endless desert on the back of my trusty steed. Giddy up, cowboy, adventure awaits us.
The amazing thing about Mass Effect Andromeda is how BioWare has managed to build an entire galaxy without revealing very much of it at all. We know that you play as a human pathfinder sent to find mankind a new home in the distant Andromeda galaxy, and we know that the trip doesn't quite go to plan, but where the story goes from there is a delicious mystery. The thing though that I am most excited about is the idea of having more open planets. You could bomb around their surface in the Nomad buggy like an intergalactic boy racer, or use your new jetpack to leap around the strange alien structures. Combat is also much faster paced, with less emphasis on cowering behind cover and more time unleashing your amazing biotic powers as you charge in, all guns blazing. No doubt about it, this adventure is going to be out of this world.
Army mateys! In 2017, you'd better prepare to shiver me timbers because Sea of Thieves is on the way. The highly anticipated treat from Rare will bring all your pirate looting dreams to reality in a shared open world adventure. If the idea of teaming up with some mates and taking to the open sea to explore, find treasure, and bump into other pirates is appealing, then Sea of Thieves will be right off your street. Or ocean. This stunning look at the watery life will have you taking on a multitude of different quests, all the while keeping an eye out for mythical creatures and giving your fellow crewmates some much needed orders. Scrub that deck, aim for starboard and hoist the flag, or something along those lines. Who's going to navigate? Who's going to be the first one to set foot on land? And who are you going to leave behind on some deserted island because they're a rubbish crewmate? The possibilities look endless, and there's definitely huge potential for some Xbox On related fun. Benny, you're scrubbing the floor. It's Captain's orders.
So there are just some of the awesome games coming out in 2017. Let us know in the comments the ones that you're most looking forward to and if we missed any out. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the awesome content coming out in 2017.
And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button. Check out another one of our list shows whilst you're at it, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.